Hi, don't enter the game industry right now. Do something else. So I've had this on my mind the past week or two. I thought I would make a short video about this, a bit different from the writing updates I have. Talk about wider industry happenings. And I also wrote this on my screen, so I might glance at it here and there so I don't lose track of what I am talking about. So a lot of us know that Sony laid off, was it 670 people? Or was it EA that did that? But Sony laid off a lot of people. Then around the same time, EA laid off a whole heck of a lot of people. And that was including closing down one of their London studios and cutting some people from Naughty Dog and Gorilla. And EA closed down Ridgeline. Yeah, I think it was Ridgeline. Marcus Leto's studio. So there's been a lot of stuff happening. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg, with all the other studios that have been losing people, small and large. You know that Microsoft has had two big layoffs. They've let go 10,000 people the first time. That was whopping. And then near 2,000 people the second time. So it's a lot. And it sucks. But say what you will about the quality of some of these games, but to see so many people lose their jobs is it's a lot. And this is not the only industry with it happening. The game industry is not immune to these layoffs. No industry is. The tech industry has had a lot of layoffs too. Just scroll through LinkedIn, look at their trending posts, and you'll see from the past year, if you search for them, that the technology industry has had quite a few layoffs. I have a couple of thoughts for people who are looking for work and they're game developers. So a lot of them are trying to break in right now. A lot of them are trying to break themselves back into the industry. It doesn't matter how experienced that they are. They could be 5 years, they could be 7.5, or they could be 15 years experienced with what they do. They're all trying to break in at the same time. There's a deluge of people. I wanted to suggest alternatives. I want to think a few of you have already thought through this, but it seems, especially on my LinkedIn page, there's just not a lot of thought being put towards this. Some people are staying out of work for months on end, or even more than a year. And it makes me think, I don't think they're exploring other avenues like they should. So, don't enter the game industry right now. Do something else. And make a lot of them, you just want to keep working on what you love. I mean, that's what I have written down on my screen. You want to keep doing what you love. You love to make games, and that makes sense. You want to keep writing games. I like game writing a lot. You want to keep making games. I mean, who wouldn't? There is so much competition that it's almost safer to spend more time creating skills for other industries. Let's say you're a programmer. There's a ton of programming in games. There's also a lot of those jobs, but you just can't find your way in 6 months, 9 months down the road. So what do? I suggest something else. A, obviously don't apply to game studios for programming jobs. Or B, do something else. If you can't try to pivot into just alternative industries that you wouldn't have thought about the first time. Go into programming if you can, but maybe go into programming not for Microsoft Word or for NVIDIA or Intel. Do some programming for something a little bit more low-key. Let's say making the code for Peloton, making the code for exercise equipment, making the code for security software, just something a little bit different, because you'll still use your skills, but you are playing it safer and it's less of a risk financially, emotionally, and you won't be stressed out as much as you are. The game industry is always fun to spend time in, but it might be just wiser to go into a different field for a while. Sorry, I keep looking off to the side because I thought that a roommate coming down here. Go learn some new skills that you weren't able to do if you were working 55 hours a week at a studio. If, let's say, you're a designer, UI or 3D something, go learn some design skills that you've been putting off for a while. Like, if you've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 for the last 6 months, maybe take a slight break. Not break, but just reduce the amount of time you're playing the game and go learn some new skills. If you're a designer, it might helpful if you try something a little more off the beaten path, but still able to provide you with a decent living. That's what we always want, an adequate salary, enough to do the bills, to pay the bills, and then some. Go, or let's say that you are a programmer. Go learn a programming language, and then maybe try to go work for Amazon. They always need programmers, right? Or work for a different kind of software company. If you're a marketer and you got laid off from EA perhaps or Microsoft, then it might be worth expanding those marketing skills with something you just hadn't done yet and then taking that to a different industry. You can still do what you want to do, but elsewhere. Then you give the game industry a year or two. Maybe after 2 years, consider where you're at with this current job, with a brand new side career, and see if you can't pivot your way back in. Especially if you already have a network in place that can provide references. It's just a lot less stress financially to press so hard into getting into a studio right now. I've never gone into a studio, and I haven't even become a junior yet, so I just make stuff for fun in my free time. I would like to try to get into the industry one day. I don't know if it'll happen. Right now, I think my skills are actually better at novel writing, but I still like to work on little video game projects on the AK here every few months. I love doing both, but it's like a side quest. Think of doing a different field as just another side quest. Instead of spending so much time scrolling through the industries you are familiar with, go off the beaten path. You may find something else adequate and doable for a couple of years before you can try to pivot back into game development. Also, don't give up. No matter where you are in a career, if it's not in the video games, don't give up on trying to get in there. Just take a side quest.